Please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. This one is going to be a complete compilation of the entire Dr. Disrespect situation, from when it happened 2 days prior to his confession, the fallout, and then his return debunking what he claimed he had said, and why he said it. If any of it does seem a little out of time or wrong, do try to remember some of this was recorded days before he had made his confession. Thank you. So over the weekend I noticed Dr. Disrespect was trending on Twitter, and this fascinated me because this meant bringing up a subject that hasn't really been publicly acknowledged, in the sense of Twitch telling us exactly what happened for a number of years. Years ago, Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch. No reason was given. We have no idea to this day what actually happened, but someone has come forward to say that something did happen. It has been many years and Dr. Disrespect moved to YouTube, carved out quite a career on the platform. He in fact sued Twitch and there was a settlement involved. Now I firmly believe, owing to a complete lack of statements at that time, that some form of conditions was set, akin to that of an NDA, where perhaps they'd pay the remainder of his contract and he wouldn't tell anyone what happened, or they wouldn't be allowed to say what happened, if it makes sense. It was an idea I had back then, but never really embellished too harshly or hardly, vaguely-ish much at all on it. Owing to the fact that Twitch have in the past been very vocal about why some have been banned, usually streamer bans, a Twitter account would highlight it, and you'd normally have a reason for it, and the fact that his was an absolute ban, there was a level of fascination, a big level of fascination, because it was just radio silence. From my perspective, it looked, well, quite bad for Twitch, really. They lost one of their biggest gamers, but we never knew why, and we still don't actually definitively know why either. And that's important. We must presume innocence until proven guilty, but the accusation that is made challenges many's belief on that. It doesn't challenge mine in the slightest. I still believe in innocence until proven guilty. The issue really is in how Dr. Disrespect has addressed the more recent trend. That is vital, because, and it certainly lends credence to my belief, it does not help him, but then nor does anyone else either being silent or saying something. We can assert all we like, but evidence is key, and when it came to his ban, there weren't many good optics for the platform of Twitch. I had believed back then he got kicked because maybe he'd asked too much money to stay on the platform because of the other one, that Microsoft one, popping up. I don't think that was it. No offense intended to those who went to that crappy platform, but, no. Anyway, today I thought I'd go through some of the tweets that have been doing their rounds, claims made by a number of people involved, and some statements from others that have perspectives on this. So Cody Connors, he got banned because he got caught sexting a minor in the then existing Twitch Whispers product. He was trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon. The powers that be could read in plain text, case closed, gang. No one made the wrong decision, F him and his boys. Now, the majority of the replies underneath are, where's the evidence? And this is something I fully support. You cannot make these kinds of claims without evidence. But this is where Dr. Disrespect's responses will become relevant. His lack of properly addressing the accusation or doing anything to publicly tackle it would lend credence to a form of NDA being involved, or some kind of case closed situation where he cannot do it, because then he has to go to court to verify or debunk. That leads to a potential breach of a contract he may well have with Twitch, which is why I do firmly believe there's something iffy about how he responded, which we're going to read now. Replying to somebody called Jake, who had retweeted Cody, who is a former Twitch employee, Jake had said a former Twitch employee has come forward and stated the alleged reason for Dr. Disrespect's permanent Twitch ban being for sexting a minor in the previous Twitch Whispers product. Dr. Disrespect, Jake, seriously. I get it, it's a hot topic, but this has been settled, no wrongdoing was acknowledged, and they paid out the whole contract. He also later said, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say what I can say, since this is the effing internet. I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled, nothing illegal, no wrongdoing was found, and I was paid. Elden Ring Monday." Now, within his statements, he has made it quite clear he's tied to legal obligations from the settlement. So I do think there is a form of NDA involved where he can't say anything negative about Twitch or about what really happened. So these accusations, he can't address them. He is bound, or he will have to lose a fair bit of money as part of that settlement. Of course, this is where we find out whether or not he is cancelable or not under the circumstances. I should now state, if it is true, and Dr. Disrespect had been sexting a minor, the police should have been involved sooner. Years ago, in fact. His career wouldn't be where it is now because he would have been annihilated, certainly in the online space. So what does this actually accomplish? It poisons the well a little, sure, and there is always a possibility that Doc is going to have to deal with that consequence for some time, because once you've asserted it once, whether it be truthful or not, there is the risk it will linger for a long time, and it will become what you are known for, what you're remembered for. Hardly a good look, of course, for somebody like Doc. But again, if you don't provide evidence to back your claims, your assertions are exactly that. And they are something that we should consider dismissing. But we're not going to, because that's not how the internet works. For me, it is exactly how it works, because unless you provide evidence, I cannot take your word as truthful, especially when you can posit, you can theorize that this is somebody who holds a bit of a grudge as an ex-Twitch employee. There is a bit of terminology that many have pointed at within Dr. Disrespect's tweet reply to Jake. No wrongdoing was acknowledged. Now, acknowledged is an unusual word to use in this particular statement. Happened is what people usually say. This comes across as legal advice, which when you consider having the accusation levied at you that is quite in nature toxic, damaging, career-ending, almost terminal stage cancer, in nature that is, I can understand wanting legal guidance, especially if you are unable to properly respond to it. I could believe that in this instance, Doc has actually spoken to somebody at Twitch to agree to what he would say next, as a way of properly handling it. Although, let's face it here, that is quite unlikely. So let's go through some of the responses people had to the situation. Firstly, EV Trapper. 1. Why was Twitch powers that be reading a high-profile streamer's private messages? This is very much like putting a camera in the bathroom type of thing. 2. How did Twitch confirm that the person in question was a minor? 3. Where is his arrest record? Lastly, I'm not defending him, but there are serious issues if Twitch is reading people's private messages for this level of context. The second issue is how Twitch confirmed that the person in question was indeed a minor. Overall, if true, not only is there serious problems with Dr. Disrespect, but there are also major issues with Twitch. Are they also reading sexting between adults? Where does the line begin or end? Vera Megas has pointed out that this individual has also been going after the likes of Nick Merckx as well, and that they, at some point, were part of the Hogwarts Legacy harassment campaign, because J.K. Rowling did all the wrongs, apparently. Tommy C put out a video statement on this, and I agree fully with everything he says in this. I'll play that now.
2 years ago, I talked to somebody who I 99.9% believes knows the allegation against Dr. Disrespect. They would not tell me what it was. They're a person of honor. But I was allowed to keep asking questions. So I floated my conspiracy theory by, which I had said in my show before, prior to talking to this guy. I said that this was something that all those little rats thought was 100% golden. That's why you saw stuff like those people connected to Twitch and Slasher. Oh, we got him. He's done. It's over. Ha, 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 ha. And when the Twitch lawyers got to look at it, he goes, you need to shut everybody up. Because not only is this not enough to charge him criminally, this opens us up to litigation. You have nothing. You have nothing. Now, this is clearly something that the Twitch employees believe he did, but whatever evidence they have for it is certainly not enough to charge him and opens them up to some kind of litigation.
The Irate Gamer also put out a statement on Twitter. on his paranormal Twitter account. Now, I didn't realise the Irate Gamer was still going in any capacity, but he does do more spiritual, other planes of existence content. It's not my kind of content, of course not. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that. Not going to hate those that do, though, or cover this kind of material. But to insert yourself into something that you're not a part of is quite interesting, really. My favourite reply to that underneath is, in truth, the realms are both internal and external. They all intersect each other. The hungry ghosts you deal with are just one way that the Praetor realm can manifest. Jesus Christ. There are levels of cringe I can handle. This is not on the list. In Chris's video, he speaks about Mr. Beast, Epstein Islands, and obviously then works his way in with Dr. Disrespect as well. There are levels of madness involved that I will admit I find impressive. I'll play a clip now.
Hey guys, so I'm breaking character for this video, and I want to talk about a few things that have gone viral lately around an individual named Dr. Disrespect. And if you don't know who that is, there's some things online going around now where he has done some lewd conduct with a minor.
Now, Keemstar also put out a statement on this, and his perspective is actually quite right as well, about how Dr. Disrespect has handled this. I'm going to insert this now as well.
This Dr. Disrespect story is absolutely infuriating, all right? An ex-Twitch employee comes out and says that Dr. Disrespect was whispering to a minor and making plans to meet up with that minor at TwitchCon. And that's why he was banned from Twitch. And then went on to say that he's a piece of shit and his friends are a piece of shit and all that. Dr. Disrespect responds by saying, hey, look, I was found to have done nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong, all right? He comes out with another statement. I did nothing wrong. Dr. Disrespect is not responding to the allegation. The allegation is that he whispered and tried to make plans to meet up with a minor at TwitchCon. That is the allegation from the ex-Twitch employee. He's not responding to that. When he's saying, I did nothing wrong, he's referring to the settlement.
Continuing on, Omni. As you guys know, I receive many tips about things that happen in the industry. Some false, some true. Can confirm that a few of the rumours sent to me regarding Dr. Disrespect and his Twitch ban is in line with what's being said now. Hope he has proof that there was no foul play. Rod Breslow at Slasher. This is posted back in 2020. Look, for several hours now I've been told from credible sources the reason Dr. Disrespect has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I have refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently. While I applaud you for using full stops, your inability to use capital letters when it suits you or when it's appropriate baffles me, because you managed it for the word I. In 2024, I didn't lie. As Comment Cop here points out with the image there, Twitch had direct access to messages proving Dr. Disrespect sexted a minor, and Slasher had access to credible sources to report on this, but both failed to publicly alert anyone and remained silent for years. Reply from Connor, there may have been legal implications to them having access to the messages in the first place. Privacy or contract violations on Twitch's side, just my guess as to why. And to an extent, I can understand that perspective. I think there are a number of issues here legally. Some have posited that perhaps the reason why it's coming out of the woodwork now is because the NDA clauses have expired. That might well be the case as well. But without the message logs confirming these accusations, not much can be accomplished. I'll insert one of the more controversial individuals here, as if Keemstar wasn't enough on his own. Tristan Tate. So, Dr. Disrespect is based as F. He's a tall, jacked, handsome bastard that no doubt has women throwing themselves at him. I know how it is. Some of his opinions upset people and his voice is loud. He's a sexual predator now? Sorry, I just don't effing believe you. And he actually did respond properly about this. Well, he said some things, actually, on Rumble with his brother. A clip of which I can't play, but I'll link it in the pinned comment if you're interested. We should probably insert Tipster and Keffels because they have to, while not want to be involved in drama, insert themselves into what is considered drama, with Keffels saying, Dr. Disrespect really said having sex with children is fine, but I draw the line at pronouns, including a clip that I don't have access to and I do apologise. In Tipster's case, tweeting out this video.
No, bad. Oh, the backyard, the backyard.
Oh, okay.
Okay, who's it?
I appreciate everyone watching
Who's
today.
it in the backyard? Who is going to be
The
looking?
backyard's tough.
we'll
We
get-
don't really, like I said, we don't really know some of the.
Yeah,
We'll
we
get
don't
through
know
this,
the
Champions
map
Club.
very well.
I know it's a tough.
That's because I don't know this one well.
Life's weird right now.
Yeah, look.
Oh
We'll
Oh, it did.
we'll get through this, okay? And
Hey, Christopher.
Dun dun dun! You better not taunt me. How dare you?
But there is something we do need to also add, and that would concern Cody Connors. Now, they have changed their profile banner header many times since this started, but they've also been using the Dr. Disrespect incident to promote their events, right? For example, back in July of 2023, if all 3 dates sell out, I'll tell you why he got banned. And in December 2023, if you're on the East Coast, you should come to one of these shows. Slasher is coming to the New York date, 500-person room, 70% on pre-sale. If that show sells out, I'll explain why we banned him during the set. Clearly they didn't sell out, because we only found out 3 days ago, allegedly. Hello everyone, I thought today we would continue the discussion surrounding the accusations levied at Dr. Disrespect, because he has addressed a bit more to an extent, and more has come out, except for the one thing at time of recording that would really help, and that would be the very screenshots or any kind of proof whatsoever. The chat logs actually be better than a screenshot, really, wouldn't it? Confirming what the accusation from yesterday was, that he had been sexting a minor. I will stand by innocent until proven guilty, and I am certainly not going to accuse him of being guilty, regardless of how sus things look. I will admit, though, the way one handles certain situations is not only a test of their character, but it does also show where they tend to be leaning, or whether they are in any way being suppressed, which I still think he is. I will, if you did not watch yesterday's video, link it down below. Do check it out so you get the context. We're going to continue as if you've already seen that. The first bit of fallout that needs to be addressed concerns Midnight Society, a company that he co-founded. On Friday evening, we became aware of an allegation against one of our co-founders, Dr. Disrespect. We assumed his innocence and began speaking with parties involved. And in order to maintain our principles and standards as a studio and individuals, we needed to act. For this reason, we are terminating our relationship with Dr. Disrespect immediately. While these facts are difficult to hear and even more difficult to accept, it is our duty to act with dignity on behalf of all individuals involved, especially the 55 developers and families we have employed along with our community of players. The prevailing theme with this statement, tweeted out by many different outlets, Dexa2 were on this, by the way. They've been tweeting non-stop about this story, and in replies to them quoting all of this is, where's the sodding evidence? And not to be picky here, assumed his innocence, spoke to parties involved, needed to act. Does this mean you spoke to Dr. Disrespect as well? Because you say parties involved, you didn't say all. Additionally, where's the sodding proof? This is all behind closed doors, yet public statements are being made from all but the one person who is receiving the accusations. This looks sus. You have to admit that. There's no way this looks anything but that. This comes across as a company pouncing quickly to ensure that they do not receive any blowback in case he is found guilty. Assumed innocence, by the way, is an interesting turn of phrase. Usually it's presumed innocent. Assume is a really bad choice. Typically we presume innocence until proven guilty. Assuming innocence means you just made a choice on it. I'm being pedantic, I know, but it's something that did stick in my head. Now, this statement was tweeted out by Midnight Society. Again, they themselves, in all their replies, where's the evidence? This understandably was noticed by virtually every single major commentary YouTube channel, whether it be Actman Quartering, whether it be Muta, hell, even Tipster. This dude might as well have guilty tattooed on his forehead at this point. I'm just going to say now, I understand why many want to assume the guilt. I also want to highlight this is the same creator, Tipster, who said he was done with drama, but the guy just can't help himself. This is the same creator, by the way, Tipster that is, who even with the mountain of evidence against Vosh refused to call him the one thing that he is, instead siding with him on the lolly debate. But in this one, we have no proof. We only have one statement from one person, and a bunch of behind closed doors discussions. There is clearly a legal, let's say, ramification involved, so they cannot publicly speak on it, but surely this means they have spoken on it. I don't know why you are so desperate to, in a way, protect Dr. Disrespect whilst also not protect Dr. Disrespect. It boggles my mind. Now, Dr. Disrespect did do some streaming, and during those streams he did speak on this briefly when he said the following.
For those that are looking for me to expand on this weekend, not gonna. I already said what I needed to say. I don't give a f about this guy. That's it. So I do appreciate the donations. I do appreciate the messages. But I like to put it in fifth gear right off the rip.
In a Dexter2 tweet where that video is accompanied, there's an article from Dexter2 as well, because the rumor was backed up by another former employee who spoke to The Verge, saying that there was a significant amount of time between the messages being sent and action being taken by Twitch. You may have noticed in that clip I played, he yet again didn't really respond to the accusation. He is flippantly fobbing it off, and I can't tell why. Beyond there being a potential NDA involved or legal ramifications on his part, him being backed into a corner and he doesn't have a choice. I stand by what I've said. If there was any wrongdoing, Twitch should be held highly accountable for it, but there was a belief that because of the nature of how these messages were seen through whispers, which could be considered an invasion of privacy, they themselves would suffer legal ramifications. They paid the full contract though? I don't understand this. There's a lot of money involved, I guess, and they decided one was more worthy than the other? I'm assuming, by the way, not presuming. I'm assuming. It doesn't mean it's verifiable fact. I'm putting an idea out there because I actually do not understand what the hell is going on. Dexter2 later tweeted another clip, a 7-minute clip, quote, "I'm just feeling burnt out. Dr. Disrespect says he will take an indefinite break from streaming." My first view when I saw this clip was that it came across as him having to step back because he knows he'll get more questions, because he won't be able to respond to it. He's going to have a lot of inquiries from his Champions Club. He's going to lose sponsors. He's going to lose another business venture or two. Hell, he might even lose his whiskey company. You never know. He has to step back, focus on other things for the time being because he can't respond to this. That's what I interpreted from this. Of course, you need to see some of that as well. I will link the tweet down below with the full video, but I'll play a clip of it now as well.
You know, like this happens over the weekend, and it just kind of, it's like how many times can I just, I don't, like I'm actually tired of being on social media, and I've expressed that over the years, champ. So I just, you know, I've always kind of hinted like it'd be nice to get off and just completely separate, right? Go live in Costa Rica or something. But I'm just feeling burnt out, I think.
We need to now address Cody before I play a few more clips of Dr. Disrespect. Savvy artist. This Cody guy in the Dr. Disrespect situation has gone full Riddler, playing with allegations, relying on the court of public opinion, and racing to verify things. The only thing that got verified was Cody's account this month, and he now qualifies for monetization. They pay out the backlog of 3 months for your engagement, not just starting on the day you qualify. Attached is a deleted tweet, which he retyped but has different language. He continues to stand by his words, implicating other people have committed crimes by covering what he alleged. This is wild behavior. Don't think he's talked to a lawyer, and if he has, then that's a bad lawyer. He now confirms those tweets were indeed about Doc. Slasher deleted a reply to one of his old tweets. Slasher claimed to know the reason for the ban, but he joked about it too. None of this is okay. You don't play with these kind of allegations. Cody has also changed his bio multiple times, having fun with all this. And that is true. I mentioned it yesterday. Cody has changed his bio at least 4 times. First, second, and third alluding to him getting sued at some point, it being imminent. The more recent one being, no, not really happening at all. The images are included referenced to the tweet that Savvy has made. Those 3 tweets warrant admonishment, maybe more than 3. The stands trying to dig stuff up have been so underwhelming that I presume they missed something. I apologize for it all because it's worth apologize for. The subtext of the bit, again shameworthy, is that you're the last person to not know. The information had been so normalized, declawed in the circles that I ran in, that could be reduced to illusion and entendre for everyone even, who has since said that's effed. I agreed with you on Friday night before you wrote it. I should have agreed with you sooner. I cannot take it back, but I can stop it. Never said I'm a perfect person. I just hope this class grades on a curve. That said, I'm the least sued I've ever been. Guys, lawyers work weekends. I don't think they had a few things they just needed to get to before they circled back to this. I'm also a little irked at Jake, who is very clearly trying to split the difference with what he thinks is half of his potential audience, but also I deserve to feel bad about the thing he's flagged. I just do. Blah blah blah, verify nonsense. And then you have the, well, deleted confirmation in the third image. This, because of the change to bio and the constant changes to tweets, deleting and reposting but rewording, has led to the accusation that this is somebody trying to gain clout from this. SabiousAudios did include the more recent profile for Cody Connors, the individual who made the initial accusation. Keeps changing his bio. There is nothing more important for anyone to get to. I believe he is saying no one is busy enough that they wouldn't make me a priority. This is not the behavior of a well-balanced brain. That's in the bio, next to I'm not being sued, version 3, dummies. I preferred version 2.0 Matt Hardy, personally. Drama alert. Dr. Disrespect seems to read a text message in this clip, which leads to his entire mood changing. This came before the Midnight Society announcement and him talking about possibly leaving social media. Here is the clip of that.
You know how we run things here.
One of Dr. Disrespect's main mods put out this vague statement a few hours ago. Layer cake. A wise man once said, 1 step back, 2 steps forward. See you at the tippy top. Not much more to go on than that. Ammunition. Dr. Disrespect ends his stream tonight saying he's fatigued and burnt out on social media. Now, I have, of course, covered this already, but this clip is going to continue doing its rounds for some time. You've seen it, I don't need to replay it. The final tweet I want to read on this subject before we finish the video, Casey Tron, who had a rather amusing back and forth with Comment Cop. Casey Tron, how do I do community notes? These losers who make content from bottom of the barrel incels. Image, bunch of words beginning with P, ending with file, yes. It's a retweet of Comment Cop, accusations are evidence, gets accused, you're accusing me with no evidence. Now, the rest of this interaction goes for a while, but I want to go to the last tweet from Casey Tron. Sometimes you don't need evidence, it's called critical thinking. Something you are clearly incapable of. Permabanned from Twitch, permabanned from Discord, kicked out of a company that he co-founded after investigation, multiple sources corroborating the reason why. Casey relies heavily on calling people an incel as a way of deflecting from the fact that getting permabanned from Twitch, the public does not have any information on it. Permabanned from Discord, not much information on that either, really. Kicked out of a company he co-founded after investigation. Not entirely true, really, is it though? The investigation was behind closed doors and yet again relying on assumption from conversation, and that's it. Multiple sources corroborating the reason why. Again, not entirely the case, is it, Casey? Until that information is made public, we cannot presume guilt. The individual in question must remain innocent. Simple as that. Of course, I do hope that information comes to light that clarifies all this eventually, but the only way it's going to happen is if a lot of money exchanges hands and a side blinks first. So over the past 4 days, I have made it a concerted point to state that we must presume innocence until proven guilty concerning the ban of Dr. Disrespect from the platform of Twitch. This is because many over the years have made it a point to just jump on the bandwagon, cancel somebody, and that person can't even be given a chance to rebuild their life. They're effectively destroyed. In the online space, you only get one chance. When the accusation then comes to light that involves children, the near silence of the person being accused is quite unusual, hence this video, because they're no longer silent. Now I say silent What I mean is, they provided some vague statements but not really said anything of substance, which led me to believe that perhaps their silence had been bought. Everyone does have a price after all. I can fully, I would say, understand, but I don't want to understand. Over on Twitter, Dr. Disrespect has put out a lengthy statement that he has edited a number of times, which is a concern. There are within the statement a number of contradictions as well. There are questions that need to be asked of Dr. Disrespect, for example with what Dr. Disrespect has said, why Twitch have done essentially and said essentially nothing. Did they now with one individual learn the lesson of cancelling others? Did they decide to be the arbiter of what was or was not severe or inappropriate, yet inappropriate enough to ban, which is intriguing to us. Many of us, especially because I don't believe anyone can say that a platform can be regarded the arbiter of truth. What we're going to do, we're now going to go through his statement. This is quite important. We're going to cut in when it seems relevant. The Twitch ban. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the effing BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. Consider this foreshadowing. Parts of this are going to be heavily filtered, hence the editing. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about, and I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. I don't want to be that guy, but I assume this is happening because you may well have been genuinely concerned about what the ex-Twitch employees, both of them, have on you that could well be a content nuke for your existence online. Of course, I still want to see what it says. The innocence until proven guilty part is irrelevant now. First and foremost, I do want to apologize to everyone in my community, as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and family, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. I'm going to be pedantic. You had the time to edit the word minor multiple times, but you didn't insert the word to between want and jeopardize. Okay. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years past. And reasons outside of your control do lend credence to the belief of an NDA involved. Although to be honest, you managed to build a very successful career on YouTube after leaving Twitch. You brought your community with you, in fact, which was an impressive feat. Now that two former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual minor back in 2017? The answer is yes. Well then, case closed, this video is finished. Should I roll my outro now? Your career is done. That one line alone, the word yes especially, is done. Are we supposed to follow this up with Jesus wept? Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. I don't suppose you want to provide any evidence, do you? Or am I right to surmise you don't have any? These were casual, mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. This is where people believe this paragraph was written by somebody of the more professional legal perspective and variety, which I can fully understand, because considering how you start, where you claim to have no filter, this part and the repeated editing does you no favours. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have been brought against me. Well, this is where, and the Actman pointed it out quite well in a video statement on Twitter, ultimately now it doesn't matter whether or not criminal charges were brought against you. The court of public opinion is not the same thing anymore. And without proof of the messages, all of it is speculative. And that's how the court of public opinion works. You will point out how toxic the online space is in your statement, later on especially, but that doesn't matter. Now, from a moral standpoint, I'll take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband, and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect. I'll effing own my ass. This was stupid. Now, with that being said, don't get it effing mistaken. I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I am no effing predator photo or PDF. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me effing knows where I stand on those things, and those types of people F that. That's a different level of disgust I effing hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the F out of here with that. You see what I mean when I said that the paragraph admitting to this was very clean, very crisp, but also written in a very peculiar way. You were mentioning the intentions behind the messages, or were there any real intentions? So what were the intentions? You've admitted to being banned for messaging a minor, but you've not stated what you said in the messages, which means that if they do release a document with anything on it, you could be well and truly screwed here. And who on earth says sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate? For example, and this is an important question to raise, you admit in these messages to talking to a minor. That's what you say. You admit to that. Okay. Did you know they were a minor when you started messaging them? The fact you didn't say that you didn't know does lean us in a direction, doesn't it, Doc? But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. To my team, community, industry friends that have supported me, I apologize. I wish I could have said this all sooner. You guys have always showed me and my family love and support throughout all these years. We love you guys like you can't imagine. I have the effing best community and circle. If any of this made you uncomfortable, I get it. You don't have to support me anymore, but just know you've always been greatly appreciated. But trust me when I say this. All my haters that live and breathe social media with zero real life experience, I don't give a F about you. A statement being edited multiple times indicates otherwise. Finally, if you're uncomfortable with this entire statement and think I'm a piece of that, that's fine. But I'm not going anywhere. I'm not the same guy that made this mistake all those years ago. I'm taking an extended vacation with my family as mentioned on stream, and I'm coming back with a heavy weight off my shoulders. They want me to disappear. Yeah, effing right. I assume conversations concerning the Matrix are now going to come up. There is certainly a point to be made about who we were several years ago, and that's not aligning with who we are now, and how we do become different people throughout our lifetime. Unfortunately, when it concerns children, there is no going back. You have admitted to inappropriately messaging a minor. That is straight up what you have admitted to in these messages. This is your own undoing now, and any further evidence that comes out, people are going to believe as truthful. So if the two ex-Twitch employees do provide anything with any concrete basis, you're beyond screw and your extended vacation becomes a retirement. It is my firm belief that everyone should be given a chance to atone and to rebuild. I do firmly believe that. When accusations involve children, it almost always goes out of the window, I'm afraid. But that's my perspective, one that is shared by a lot of people. You were inappropriately messaging someone in 2017. You got banned in 2020 for those messages. You were for the longest time building a community from then to now, and it was built strong with a lot of support and a lot of backers. Don't forget those that defended you when you did get banned, promoted you because you got banned, not knowing why. Many of them are going to feel betrayed right now. They're not going to find this an easy one to take, an easy pill to swallow, because to them, and rightly so, it will be seen as them endorsing you. I don't think anyone wants to do that right now. Not until more evidence is seen. Until then, you're in the corner. You might want to stay there for a while. You can write vacation on your hat though if you like. Since his admission of guilt yesterday, he has lost over 30,000 subscribers. I'm expecting that number to continue to drop for quite some time. For the most part, Dr. Disrespect has been consistently growing for years. So when I stated that his lengthy vacation that he was going on with family was going to be an early retirement party, I think there's more credence to that. Although, it is worth adding, we still need more information. I say need because assigning a level of guilt is one thing, but fully understanding is also vitally important. And I want to understand. I need to understand. What I thought I'd do in this video is go through some of the responses that many have had concerning the situation, along with suitable videos that may well prove a point as well, which we'll get into later. We will start with a tweet from Mokolet, throwing away my Dr. Disrespect costume I wore back in 2022 and deleting any photos and or videos I posted wearing it. I want nothing to do with a PDF. Middle finger emoji. Many accusing Mokolet of just being a virtue signaler in the replies to their tweet.
off. Asshole.
Now we're going to read a tweet that's since been deleted, and we're going to circle back to it later. In the replies to Dr. Disrespect's Twitch ban statement, the quartering had replied, "Firm handshake." This got the quartering a lot of shtick, and we're going to get to some of that later. Keemstar with a a meme of a 13-year-old cupcake-loving individual who got stung, who is haram on this platform. Sorry, haram on this platform. Cosplaying as Dr. Disrespect. Liu Taurus. I've mispronounced her name, I'm sorry. Throwback to Dr. Disrespect, who got streamer Burger Planet crying after being pressed for filming at the TwitchCon party in 2017. Now, in the context of what we see, to be honest, all I observe is somebody not wanting to be on camera, but I do know that many would use it to make a wider point about why he would not want to be seen on camera. Personally, I will hold true to the value that if somebody requests you not put them on camera, you abide that. Based on how streamers behave IRL these days, there is no decorum. There should be.
What are you doing? No. You're killing it right now. Oh, sorry. Can I do a video? Oh, no, shit. We're not going to collab. Don't ever film me again. Why? Just do me a favor, okay? Don't ever film me again. Don't ever get me on there. Okay. Do you hear me? What? Don't ever... Hey. What? All right, well, get away from me, man. Don't be on my thing. Get out of my face. Get it out of my face. All right, I'm coming over. Well, don't go back into it if you don't want to be on.
Mischief. Dr. Disrespect saw Firecracker in The Boys and really decided to almost copy her whole flow, beat for beat, bar for bar. Included is a video from the TV show The Boys, or Amazon Prime show The Boys, where Firecracker admits to having been close to that of an individual who is 15 years old. I can't play the video, by the way, because I get a copyright claim. Dexter 2. Turtle Beach seemingly removed all Dr. Disrespect merch and references from their website. His old links lead to the homepage of the website. Included is an image of a custom pair of Dr. Disrespect Turtle Beach headphones. Keen put out one of the more contentious statements that got a lot of traffic. I say contentious not because I agree or disagree, but it's an interesting statement to make regardless. Why did they leak the reason for Dr. Disrespect's ban now? Because Doc's friend Nick Merckx challenged the LGBTQ to leave the kids alone. Some woke Twitch employees dropped the reason to not just go after Doc, but to embarrass Nick Merckx. The ex-Twitch employee said F Doc and his friends. Ever since this story came out, not only has Doc been under fire, but Nick Merckx getting so much heat. Why was this politically motivated? We should have known the reason for Doc's ban 4 years ago. We should be just as mad at those holding the secret for all this time, just to drop it in a political maneuver like this. When I said this is one of the more contentious ones, people do like to then say it's a false equivalent. The question now becomes, is there any truth to what Keemstar has said? And it certainly can be interpreted as such. Timing is key, and I do honestly believe those that held on to this for 4 years should be in a whole world of trouble for holding on to it for 4 years. If the kids mattered that much, or if this kind of situation mattered so much, it should have come out sooner. And we'll get to somebody who used to work for Twitch with a statement they made soon as well. Chrissy. Dr. Disrespect admitted to cheating on his wife in 2017 at TwitchCon, which also happens to be the same year he was privately messaging a minor. I did some digging and found that the woman he cheated with was 24 at the time, so it isn't the same girl. But it still makes you think, what were his intentions going to be with the minor if they met up? Clearly he was looking to hook up with someone despite having a family. If you are defending him in any way, I hope you never have children and that your hard drives get searched because y'all are sketchy and gross. Included is a clip of Dr. Disrespect making an admission.
Kind of have a little bit of an announcement. And I just want to be completely transparent with you guys. As you guys know, I have a beautiful family and a wife and kid, and I want to be transparent that I've been unfaithful, and I'm probably going to be taking some time off to focus on stupid mistakes, man.
Ricky Berwick decided to go slightly differently with this one. Dr. Disabled is live. If somebody had to mock him, it may as well be Ricky. Irrational Chat. If you think you've seen the craziest take on the Dr. Disrespect stuff already, you're wrong. Included is an image of Jean-Francois Garipé. If you remember him from the alt-right days, when he pwned a creator called Kraut, because Kraut and T decided to talk about salmon or trout pregnancies. I think it was trout, which was interesting. Jean-Francois? See, a 17-year-old consenting to a sexual conversation. He could have inseminated her and it wouldn't have been illegal. Unfortunately, he just sexted her. Keep it going at Dr. Disrespect. Oh dear God. Boblax. Image of Dr. Disrespect's statement amended. Hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. Let's cut the effing BS. I like kids. I mean, that one works. There's been a lot of memes, and this one is an amusing one. Keemstar. So many tweets talking about Dr. Disrespect talking with a 17-year-old. Let me be clear. There is no credible source giving out the age of the minor. We have no idea how old this person was at the time. Yeah, I'm not sure why the reactions to this tweet alone above are saying that I'm defending Dr. Disrespect. Huh? I'm simply stating no one knows the age of the minor, and there's a lot of tweets of people saying the minor 17, but it's based on absolutely nothing. The minor could be younger, no one knows. Now this is based on an anonymous email, but it's not verified yet. D-Day Cobra retweeting Drama Alert, which we'll get to their tweet in a second. All these guys have direct contact with the guy. They can simply just call the dude and ask him straight up what happened, but instead it's all performative for social media. This is our world now. Reference to Tim the Tatman disowning Dr. Disrespect following the allegations.
Wow, this is absolutely insane, bro. Everything I'm seeing. I have known Doc for a while now. We've played games for years, and seeing everything that is spiraling right now is a very difficult thing for me personally, and I'm sure for a lot of y'all out there. I think for me, I know a lot of you are asking, Tim, what are you feeling? Tim, what are you feeling? My bottom line, I think, is if what he is saying, where he said that he was messaging a minor and it would sometimes lead to teeter on inappropriate, if he knew that was a minor and those were the messages being sent, I cannot support that.
Drama Alert. These Dr. Disrespect memes are insane. Now, of course, I can't expand upon two of them, but the reply underneath, almost as bad as Mount Touchmore. Today is not a good day for Dr. Disrespect. These memes are going nowhere. Fear Buck. No effing way. Now this, I believe, is an old gameplay thing, I think. But I do admit the Doctor cheats on wife with minor being the reason or the individual that eliminated. Yes, that's certainly a form of foreshadowing from many, many years ago. Carvos. People defending Dr. Disrespect now. What more do you need? He admitted to messaging a minor. Never said he was given a wrong age or catfished. Said there was no real intent. Get the F out of here. You're an adult and there is no excuse ever. As a former fan, F him. Reply underneath of interest. I was one of the ones defending the other day when it was just rumors, but it's disappointing to see it's real. Why was there a payout? Surely sexting a minor would need the authorities to be notified, not just an agreement to part ways. Twitch has a lot to answer to. There is a point there. I do believe it has something to do with the contract he had signed with Twitch. I don't know what rules or clauses were within it. Of course I don't. I'm not going to presume too much. Clip SZN. Old clip of Twitch CEO explaining Dr. Disrespect's ban resurfaces and it all makes sense now.
Wants to know after all these years, why was Dr. Disrespect banned?
Wow, I've never had that one. Whoa! Well, now that I'm on Mrs. Channel, let me tell you what really happened. Okay, so there was an alien invasion. Okay, many people did not know about the alien invasion. Okay, and the aliens actually possessed Dr. Disrespect.
Oh.
Okay, and it actually took over the globe using Twitch.
With the Shungai.
Yes, okay. And so the only way we could save civilization, okay, was to take the action we did. Okay, so it was to save civilization.
Do you remember earlier I read one of the Quartering's responses that he since deleted? Well, this is the part where we now circle back to a 3-tweet thread. Yes, from the Quartering. People are pissed that in my latest Dr. Disrespect video I titled it, He admitted it. Mass downvoting and unsubscribing. It's so confusing. He literally did admit to inappropriately texting a minor. He did not say he got tricked. He did not say he stopped after finding out. I've defended Doc since day one. Been a member of the Champions Club since day one on YouTube. I never said a crime was committed, and I wish more context would help soften the blow. But the facts are he knowingly chatted with a minor and was inappropriate. It's hard to defend. As much as it's a bummer for me as a fan, he effed up, and it's my job to report on that. I hope all it was locker room talk. I really effing hope that, but we're never going to know. The vast majority of the replies to the Quartering's tweets are still featuring that firm handshakes remark. It's not going to go anywhere for some time. He's going to have to ride this wave out regardless of his stance now. He later tweeted, I really wanted Doc to be innocent, but he wasn't, by his own admission. That's why I deleted my firm handshakes reply. You may have noticed Leftoid spamming it in my reply. After I reread his statement, after he deleted then added back minor, it just felt weird. YouTuber KSI retweeted the Dr. Disrespect statement by saying, this makes me so sad. One of my inspirations, talking to a minor inappropriately, KMT, I don't know what that means. You have a wife and kids, do better. Sneeko updates. Sneeko defends Dr. Disrespect. Included is a clip with a quote from it that I'm just going to play for you to hear now.
Dr. Disgusting, says Valkyrie. Yuck, says Pokimane. Everyone hates you, but as soon as that second hits midnight, then she can sign up on OnlyFans, sell her body, and then everyone's gonna parade around and say, you go, queen! You're an independent girl boss, slay! Clown world. Because Twitch is 13 plus. So they're okay if you're 13 years old, edging to Pokemon all day. But if Dr. Disrespect texts a girl who's 17 years old, 11 months, 364 days, 59 minutes and 59 seconds, he's the worst person ever. Why?
Now, the last two tweets I want to show you, because we could go through a lot of other Twitch streamers who have all called out Dr. Disrespect. Sure, we could do that, or we could focus on two people. One who put out the email that is allegedly what happened from Too Nice Kyle. The image itself, you can pause and read through it if you need, is quite lengthy, and based on what Dr. Disrespect has said now, has turned out to be somewhat accurate. The other from a former Twitch employee, Relim, the Dr. Disrespect situation. I don't think most people have an idea of how bad things were behind the scenes at Twitch. I worked in the department that had access to the most data and information. I saw private messages, etc. It was literally my job to investigate daily. I saw things every single day that I wish I never had to see. I always advocated for being a good human, always expressed with heavy emotion on my streams how Twitch let PDFs run free every day. I signed an NDA and afraid to get into trouble, but I have to say something. It's been bothering me so long. These sick Fs don't deserve to be free. Sorry, it's pretty vague. I'm literally afraid for legal and safety reasons. Wish I could explain more, but wanted to let you guys know half the S you assume is probably true. Of course, I reported everything I saw directly to authorities within minutes. It's also highly illegal to save anything related to these cases. Look up CSAM laws. Let's just pray investigations complete and creeps are held accountable. Thanks for the support, and weird people stop. I have a feeling this is going to get messy for quite some time when it comes to whether or not you could actually say something when it concerns an NDA, whether they can hold you liable if you were disclosing criminal behavior or not. As I'm not really familiar with NDAs, and I'm not a legal expert, I will defer to those who are.
Have you seen the doctor tweet? I have, man. I have. Obviously, a lot of people been tweeting at me. You know me. You guys know me for a long time. Obviously, I have a relationship with Doc. Played golf a lot the last year. Come on, man. I mean, it's pretty much common sense how I feel about that. I've got a daughter now. It's like I got people calling me out in my Twitter mentions like, yo, why don't you got your pitchfork out? Why aren't you, if you don't come out right now and say how much you don't fucking like this guy anymore, you're a piece of shit. I'm like, dude, I really don't want to get into it.
Tifu, much like many people in fact, has called on Twitch to release the whispers proving all of this, giving us the irrefutable evidence that many require to put that final nail either in the coffin of Dr. Disrespect or to better understand the situation in general, which is where I'd rather lean. The nail in the coffin is given at this point. Nick Merckx, who recently got a ban for certain comments said during Pride Month, said on a stream he was a friend People think that we're like best friends. I don't even know the guy outside of a wig. We took one picture together and newsflash, he was in a wig. And we talked for 8 minutes. Now this is because of the belief that these former Twitch employees only came out and said these things about Dr. Disrespect, which he then confirmed because of Nick Merckx's anti-pride stance. Keemstar. YouTube banned EDP445 after he got caught trying to meet a minor for a 13-year-old cupcake. Do you think YouTube will ban Dr. Disrespect after he admitted to talking to a minor inappropriately? I know for a fact YouTube is investigating this. They always do when it's this high profile. Don't forget here, users like Shane Dawson got demonetized very quickly when there was enough controversy against him. CS2 has decided to release limited edition Dr. Disrespect skins following recent developments. Kojo Mo tweeted out the images. They would include an AK, an M249, and a Nova. I know nothing of these pew-pews, but you know, you tell me in the comments. Nick Diorio. Keem just told me the Bloomberg article is the big nuke. Does anyone have a mirror? My understanding is that it's mostly what we already know, but 3 Twitch employees are the sources for it, the 4th being the leaker dude. Another loss of revenue for Dr. Disrespect would be that NBA 2K24 has removed Dr. Disrespect from the game, which will be in the next patch. So far, all these revenues of income are dropping off like flies, and we've still yet to see those whispers that I agree with Tfue and many others we do need to see. His admission of guilt doesn't change that there is a consequence to that. I just want to understand it better. Kick have come out and said that they have no plans to preemptively ban Dr. Disrespect. Now, we did discuss last week, he actually did get offered a deal with them. I also remember last year discussing that he had said he wouldn't go there to Kick unless they upped the offer significantly. The offer they had given him was 10 million, but since XQC got 100 million, he believed he was worth more than that, or somewhere in that ballpark, before he would even consider leaving YouTube, who did not have him tied to an exclusive deal. In fact, one of the reasons YouTube didn't have him tied to a deal is because of the controversy surrounding how he was banned in the first place. Dexter2. Dr. Disrespect knew the victim he was messaging was underage and indicated to them it was no problem, confirmed by a former Twitch employee via Slasher Rolling Stone. Retweeted by Nick Diorio. I'm now completely convinced Twitch would never have told us Dr. Disrespect messaged a minor at all, and the journalist who knew would have 100% let him get away with it. The reason why Slasher went dark for 4 years is the same reason Twitch refuses to drop redacted logs now. Literally nothing has changed except we found out through a rogue employee. Included are 2 images confirming this. Looks like literally the whole effing industry knew, so don't feel bad guys. If you gave Doc the benefit of the doubt, so did effing YouTube, and they knew more than we did, confirming that there is some truth to all of this. Also, what the F does this mean? Investigations by law enforcement. It's been 4 years. They're still investigating? Did you call the cops already? There is a big point here. Of course, we should not take away from the fact that Dr. Disrespect has admitted to talking to a minor in an inappropriate manner. Those conversations should have never happened. Because this is now mostly public, to be honest, these platforms should be showing us everything now, for transparency and for optics on themselves, because these optics aren't good for any of them, Twitch especially. And the fact they're not saying anything or doing anything is, quite frankly, beyond disrespectful, but unsurprising considering what Twitch are like. Slasher, or Rod Breslow, had tweeted, "From me for Rolling Stone, Dr. Disrespect knew he was sending those explicit messages to a minor. Former Twitch employee says he indicated that this was no problem. Included is a Rolling Stone article. Generally when it comes to Rolling Stone as an outlet, I don't pay much attention to them because of their college campus articles from all those years ago that were based on fakery. I consider them fake news, but there is some truth, as Nick Diorio had tweeted, confirming much of what is said in this." Another consequence for Dr. Disrespect is that YouTube is now pausing paid memberships on his channel. The quartering. The latest on Dr. Disrespect leaves little doubt. 1. Sent sexually graphic messages to a minor he knew to be underage. 2. Was made aware of the individual being underage and indicated it was not a problem. I'm out. Quotes underneath. I recall that Dr. Disrespect was made aware by the individual that they were underage during the conversation, after which he indicated this was no problem and continued on. There was no confusion. Messages sent after this was acknowledged were no less graphic and in sexually explicit nature than before. And I think more than the categorization of leaning too much in the direction of being inappropriate might indicate. A user called Blacklight replied to the courtroom by saying, "Anonymous, again not pro-doc. I want to see someone come forward with their name and their current or past position so it can be verified rather than Cody, who was trying to sell tickets to his concert, or an anonymous source." Now, I do agree with some points there, but Dr. Disrespect did come out and explicitly address this, and we have covered it. I do think more needs to be transparently dealt with, an inquiry of some kind. Social media clearly are doing a bit of a Jimmy Savile BBC thing here, because they all protected Dr. Disrespect. They all did it because it seemed to be that terrain of newness where we don't know what to do. Now, Slasher, getting a fair bit of heat for deleting some accusations we'll get to soon, celebrated the article getting published by going on Hassan Piker's stream. Nick Diorio tweeted by saying in the opening minute he tells Hassan that Legal has carefully mapped out what he can and can't say, and then he immediately blurts out unverified reports of Dr. Disrespect getting arrested. There are a number of clips here. I'm going to read through the tweets first. Imagine having been told by Hassan Piker about being careful what information you blurt out in regards to breaking news, that Russia is never going to invade Ukraine. Guy. Hassan, the screenshot is fake. Yeah, well, I didn't even show it, but like I said, it's unconfirmed and I would not run with that. Any other questions, Rod? Slasher, give me traffic. And Lamal, the absolute timing. Rod Breslow, I have confirmed with San Diego Sheriff's Department that no one was arrested, nor was there an incident at that location. Some tweets were deleted by Slasher. They really did themselves no favors in this situation, and of course, a relevant clip of this should be played now.
Might potentially be some breaking news, Hassan. I did get a DM about an hour ago from someone who lives in Encientas, near Rancho Santa Fe. That is the area that Dr. Disrespect lives in.
Mm-hmm.
And he sent me a screenshot from his next door, which is in that area. And there is a comment. This was from 11 a.m. this morning, so this is before my article came out. There is a comment that says, "We just saw Dr. Disrespect in handcuffs."
Nick Diorio, this right here is why it took 4 years to report Dr. Disrespect's predatory behavior, and it's disgusting. Included is a clip from Destiny. Everyone wants to dog on the idiot who leaked the story to sell concert tickets, but the reality is after 4 years of Twitch investigating, this story was never coming out in any official capacity. Twitch effing sucks. And anyone who knew actual details and watched this guy make millions on YouTube is a piece of shit. To be honest, there's a point there as well, because you stood back, Twitch, and you did nothing when you knew something that should have been dealt with. Think of what has happened in the 4 years since. All the money, all the success, all the acclaim, the sponsorships, the branding. The guy became an avatar for gaming YouTubers and streamers in general. He was thought of as one of the top guys. Not the, just one of. And the guy was messaging minors, or a minor. I don't know if there was more than one. 8 thoughts. This is why I changed my mind after crucifying Dr. Disrespect. Something is feeling off about the whole thing. Image included. Confirmed. Dr. Disrespect was reported by Twitch to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children when they were illegally recording whispers by the doc back in 2017. A full investigation was authorized and no wrongdoing was found and no illegal activity took place by Dr. Disrespect. No arrests were made and no charges were filed, thus adding more weight that Dr. Disrespect is innocent, as this is indeed looking like witch hunt by ex-Twitch employees to frame Dr. Disrespect, unconfirmed. It is also reported that the minor was actually a former Twitch employee pretending to be a 17-year-old girl and trying to bait Dr. Disrespect with entrapment techniques, while the ex-Twitch mods illegally recorded it all. They were all fired soon after and sued by Dr. Disrespect's legal team. They are very bitter over this and why this whole thing is coming out for the second time after it has already been dealt with. According to this Twitter user, the information came from Slasher doing an interview with Destiny. Reply from Christopher Kai, it's from Call of Shane, and it seems to have been deleted. This has been confirmed by the person actually stating Call of Shane with the image, with the full-sized image showing Call of Shane's name on it. And the community post that this derives from on the Call of Shane channel is not deleted. So I do want to point out 8 in this instance. The user who posted it originally, 8 thoughts, is being intentionally deceptive with the post and not properly crediting the person who had actually posted it. This is not a good look for 8 thoughts in the slightest. I do want to add that this does, as pointed out by Legal Mindset, open up a whole discussion on liability, and the Twitch minor bait theory is one of many possibilities that cannot be dismissed at this present moment. And let's face it, Twitch should be investigated for this. they should. It is a bit of a distraction from what's going on, of course it is, but it does not change that that is still a correct statement. One last thing, I should actually play a clip of Slasher talking to Destiny with the point of the Twitch reporting Dr. Disrespect to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children here.
On Twitch, and I have reported that Twitch did report this to the National Center of Missing and Exploited Children. Why not?
You have that on record?
Yes. Why not request?
That's a big deal.
Why
that
not?
Is a big deal.
Why not request that they have released information, or why not request that law enforcement through this entire time, which then very likely, at the behest of MEC to do something, have say something.
One individual posted one tweet, and that one tweet caused quite a stir. It also got community noted to high hell, and a lot of those community notes were quite, well, delectable. The discourse surrounding Dr. Disrespect had died down in favor of discussions concerning Mr. Beast and Boogie2988. Dr. Disrespect had taken some time away. I personally believed he was going to disappear for several months, because it would make more sense to allow for things to play out, right? He'd already confessed to messaging a minor, regardless of age. He had admitted to that. That was, for the court of public opinion especially, enough. He had lost sponsorship deals, endorsements, participation in collaborative works on video games and such. What he really needed to get through this was one of two things. A spin doctor, because they're quite useful. In politics they are exceedingly good. And a PR manager. Not that the PR manager would do very well without the spin doctor. I'm going to link the videos I've done before down in a pinned comment. If you want to go and watch those for the full context, by all means do so. We are going to carry on though, with sources I had been compiling since the last video to lead up to the more recent tweet. On the 9th of July, Nick Diorio, so yes it has been a while, had tweeted, "I've been waiting for this video to come out all week. This wildly changes my opinion on Slasher. I was under the assumption that he was far more informed than he actually was. Slasher said that he only had one primary source prior to the recent articles and secondary sources. I didn't realize that only one single contact at Twitch had ever actually seen the context of the messages. Again, prior to the recent article where there were 3, and that's Slasher. Now it essentially feels worthless to criticize him because he ran around like a clout-hungry schoolgirl, acting like he knew more than he actually did. I amend my position to thinking just Twitch sucks, and Dr. Disrespect, obviously, in case I need to spell that out." Slasher went on Hassan Piker's streams and spent a lot of the time getting far too full of himself, to the point Hassan had to rein him in multiple times because of how white trash he looked, acting like he was smarter than he was. The final tweet in Nick Diorio's thread here. I think when Slasher says sources in the above screenshot, this is post-Bloomberg, where Moore participated. He was pretty clear about not being able to move forward with just one primary source. The images are DMs, and they don't really help Slasher at all. Willie Mac had made a video talking about all of this, and manages to adequately convey problems and flaws within what Slasher did, how Twitch handled the situation, and Cody, the employee that went public, who had never seen the messages. Which means a lot of the aspects of people's argumentation, evidence-wise, is flawed. Dr. Disrespect has still admitted guilt, but the messages are important. Context is key here. Skipping ahead to the 25th of July 2024, an article via Game Rant. Dr. Disrespect makes change to social media page. He recently changed his header image on Twitter, which had fans curious about a possible reason for the update. On the screen now is the image of his current Twitter header photo. The reason for the curiosity is because, as I'd earlier stated, Dr. Disrespect announced a vacation. Some believe this ties into the concept of vacation because many go fishing when they go camping. To be honest, it's a bit of a stretch. Skipping ahead again to July the 30th. Developers of Dr. Disrespect fronted shooter Dead Drop speak out on the streamer's exit. The reason they've spoken up is because what the plan was originally for Dead Drop was for Dr. Disrespect to play the game, upon its release to his millions of followers and subscribers on YouTube. This would have then driven up interest in the game and gotten more people interested in playing that game. His brand at that point was untouchable, so it would have helped immensely. The question for Dead Drop is whether or not they find success in an increasingly competitive live service shooter market, one that in recent months has already claimed a number of high-profile victims. I'm going to insert a disclaimer with the 2 articles I've cited. They are completely pointless, because a lot of the commentary they actually provide harkens back to when the accusations first came out and Dr. Disrespect had to deal with the consequences of that. Not much of it is fresh information in the slightest, yet these articles were released days ago. So on Twitter, on July the 31st, 2024, Dr. Disrespect posted a picture of himself with chess pieces on one side, with, I believe, the bishop out in the open and a pawn. There are a few flaws with this image, and I'm going to be picky about the chess side. On the other side are drafts pieces, or checkers, for those who play that and prefer it as that. We say drafts over here. Now, there are many comments you can make about this, about playing chess is more complicated to that of drafts or checkers. There's a point to that. I don't look down at either. I think they're both fun games. I prefer chess, of course I do. I'm English, and it's superior. It requires a bit more thought, but tactically, nothing wrong with drafts or checkers. Some have suggested that this is an indicator that he is playing a chess game against people who don't have the mind for it. There's a lot you can take from the image if you look at it hard enough. Again, I'm more intrigued by what's on the table and where it sits, because, you know, you've already had 2, maybe 3, 4 moves, and nothing opposite is moved. I'm just that guy. I'm sorry, I can't help it. The images on the checkers or drafts piece is interesting as well. Now, something of interest also is the community note part. Now, because I can rate community notes, I have access to rate community posts that are proposed. The first one, Dr. Disrespect is an S-offender and everyone should know about it. He shouldn't be on this platform. He still continues to be inappropriate in his posts by insulting and blocking others when they want to know the truth. Dr. Cheat on Wife with Minors is trying to act like it was all part of some grand plan of his, when in fact he just likes cheating on his wife and talking to underage kids. Dr. Disrespect is admitted to knowingly, no note required, which is triple N. Notes made me laugh, but note isn't needed. Dr. Disrespect is playing chess, a game meant for older audiences, and is suggesting his followers are playing checkers, drafts, a game meant for kids. He is implying that he likes to... Yeah, okay, alright. Needless to say, it's an amusing moment. Replies underneath. The quartering. Doc, I'm glad you're back. You are, so apostrophe RE, and hope to hear your side of all of this sooner than later. And under his rate proposed community notes. The tweet is implying that Dr. Disrespect hasn't given his side of the story, however, he did in a tweet on the 25th of June. I have a sneaky feeling here, Jeremy. Your bias is showing again. And, Bo Black's, yes. Let's go to something else, because Nick Diorio had pointed out that back on the 25th of July, Josh had said, "How are you mad at this?" but said firm handshake in response to Dr. Disrespect saying he messaged a minor inappropriately. Your social political bias is so clear, nobody should take you seriously. With Jeremy saying, you defend PDF predators as long as they are trans. Look in the mirror, dumb F. Nick Diorio also tweeted out the image of the quartering saying, the latest on the Dr. Disrespect situation leaves little doubt. 1. Sent sexually graphic messages to a child, or a minor he knew to be underage. 2. Was made aware of the individual being underage and indicated it was not a problem. I'm out. On the 27th of June, 2024. 1 month and a few days removed, and Jeremy has changed his tune. Something which has been picked up by many people, and, well, Jeremy's taken a bit of a pasting for it. Carvos. Dr. Disrespect hyping up his return as if he wasn't exposed for talking to a minor. This is wild. LOL. Reply. Have to assume the bait picture and now the chess v checkers drafts means he is about to drop what no one else will, actual proof of what happened. Reply, I hope he does. And to be honest, I do too. I want to see the proof. You, Dr. Disrespect, admitted to messaging a minor in an area or realm that was borderline inappropriate or bordering on inappropriate. Okay, we need to see the context so we can fully understand what the feck you're talking about. Yes, I said feck. F-E-C-K. Do not demonetize me. It's not a profanity. You've still admitted to messaging a minor, which you really should not have done, ever. I know 2017 was a difficult year for you, but there are no excuses. There are never any excuses. And there have to be some consistent positions on this. The only way though to be certain of what has transpired is with those messages. They're really the only thing that would help. Chris the Narc. Thank you, Tipster, for somehow making this about Nick Merckx and the trans community. Because, as is the case, even though he doesn't want to do drama anymore, just so tipsy, just the tip, all the tip, the thirsty thirst tip, said, dude admits to messaging a minor inappropriately, then comes back like nothing happened and goes full mask off. No wonder he defends Nick Merckx. He's a bigoted freak, too. This is because in the replies to Dr. Disrespect's tweet, he did reply to some people, and we'll get to those soon. Muta, I'm assuming the one taking the photo is too young to understand chess. Reply from Kieran, the community note, because Muta didn't know about these proposed community notes. Now to some of the replies. Alex Walks, did you at least increase the vertical leap? Reply, and got a tan too. Dreamo, I heard you a PDF N-word. I heard you like little boys and girls. N-word. Dr. Disrespect, little brainwashed woke boy putting out Dragon Ball Z GFX with Kendrick Lamar lines, ... Well, your boomer is showing. I believe the shorthand is, oh, cool meme, bro. Wash your crack. Is this you playing with a minor? Reply, good one, she, her. The internet will never fix your real threat, ... Depression. When I went and looked at the trending tag for Dr. Disrespect, the top had a little paragraph. And before we look at that trending tag, I want to read it to you. Dr. Disrespect, a popular online personality, recently posted on social media for the first time since admitting to messaging a minor inappropriately. The post sparked a significant reaction from the online community, with many expressing shock, disappointment, and criticism. The comma before "and" is not required. Some users questioned the inappropriateness of his return to the public eye, while others defended him. The incident has highlighted the complexities of public figures' accountability and the impact of their actions on their audience. Popular is an interesting word. Now, in the trending tag, there is a lot going on, and in truth, as I scroll through this, there is not much in the way of positivity aimed at Dr. Disrespect at this present moment. Obviously, you have some of his replies, yes, including proposed community notes as well. The first one, by the way, says, why you effers care if he gets noted, lol, he touches kitties. Citing a website called Being a Nonce is Wrong. Oh, lad. This is going to be a very interesting time for Dr. Disrespect. Today we're going to be looking at a tweet that we've covered before, but there's a reason for it. Dr. Disrespect, on the 25th of June 2024, tweeted out, it was seen by millions by the way, hello, I'd like to make a quick statement. You know this tweet, don't you? I'm going to read it again because I had to go and get it archived. We'll get to that soon. Don't worry. This is jolly good fun, everyone. Let's cut the effing BS. As you know, there's no filter with me. This seems a bit ironic. I've always been upfront and real with you guys on anything that I can be upfront about. And I'm always willing to accept responsibility, which is why I'm here now. I'm getting the feeling that paragraph in its entirety can be regarded as ironic. So whereas I said it once for the first sentence, let's just say the whole bloody thing. First and foremost, I do want to apologise to everyone in my community as well as those close to me, my team, and everyone at Midnight Society Game Studio. This seems a bit hollow. Foreshadowing, folks. A lot of people have been left in the dark about what happened yesterday with Midnight Society and I. They severed contact. And we made the painful decision collectively to have me step down. Our team is full of incredibly talented and good people that have high career ambitions and families, and I'd never want to jeopardize the culture we have carefully crafted. Does this culture include wearing mullet wigs and shades and headphones and body armor? If that's the culture, it sounds like a cosplay or a LARP. I know many of you have already seen this before, but don't worry, we're getting there. And I want to read this again because the internet is forever, as it should be. Anyone that seeks to delete things that they have crafted on this platform, or on any platform that they use, don't worry, somebody will have undoubtedly either screenshotted it or archived it. Quote mined, cherry picked, The usual standard stuff. Everyone has been wanting to know why I was banned from Twitch, but for reasons outside of my control, I was not allowed to say anything for the last several years. Now that 2 former Twitch employees have publicly disclosed the accusations, I can tell you my side of the story regarding the ban. This is very important. The 2 that came forward, there's been much in the way of discussion about who they are, and what they do, blah 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 blah, of course. And is it Slasher? Yeah, that. The discussion is important. Of course it is. But with time passing, we've gotten less information to go on, and let's face it, nothing substantial to really give us, beyond this statement, any information. And that's quite frustrating. It was equally frustrating when this statement came out that he was replying to people quite aggressively, being quite obnoxious, which does fall in line with the character, the whole no filter effing BS man that he is, oozing machismo and all that. Were there Twitch whisper messages with an individual back in 2017? The answer is yes. Were there real intentions behind these messages? The answer is absolutely not. These were casual mutual conversations that sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, but nothing more. Nothing illegal happened. No pictures were shared, no crimes were committed. I never even met the individual. I went through a lengthy arbitration regarding a civil dispute with Twitch, and that case was resolved by a settlement. Let me be clear, it was not a criminal case against me, and no criminal charges have ever been brought against me. Now, there's something interesting here about this paragraph. It's a very important part. You see, in this version, it says with an individual back in 2017, but in the original post, individual minor. That is very important. It's a very important distinction, and this was something he did on a number of tweets that he had put out. This one especially. He had amended, edited multiple times this tweet, removing the word minor, putting it out, taking it out, and putting it back in again. This is a crappy tactic to drive up engagement, but also to try and see what would get the best response? Yeah. I'm not entirely sure how you can get the best response, actually, from a tweet where you confess to messaging a minor inappropriately, or sometimes leaned too much in the direction of being inappropriate, as he himself puts it. I am going to continue reading the one that has the word minor in going forward, by the way. Without those chat logs, though, and it is important to acknowledge, no one can say with absolute certainty whether or anything he has said here is true. Continuing, now from a moral standpoint, I'll absolutely take responsibility. I should have never entertained these conversations to begin with. That's on me. That's on me as an adult, a husband and a father. It should have never happened. I get it. I'm not perfect, and I'll effing own my poop. That was stupid. I know that in 2017 he was going through a rough patch. I remember seeing the videos. We put them in other videos we've done on this subject, in fact, but there is still never any justification for it. Moments of weakness define us. That's the point. Those weaknesses are a challenge and a test of our character. Even your outlandish two-time character. It doesn't matter what you try and say to justify your weakness, because your weakness exposed a part of who you really are. As a consequence, you are, in the court of public opinion's eye, a bit of a nonce. Yeah. Carrying on. Now, with all this said, don't get it effing mistaken, I've seen all the remarks and labels being thrown around so loosely. Social media is a destruction zone. I am no predator or PDF. Are you kidding me? Anyone that truly knows me effing knows where I stand on those things with those types of people. F that. That's a different level of disgust that I effing hate even hearing about. Don't be labeling me as the worst of the worst with your exaggerations. Get the F out of here with that poop. As far as many people in the court of public opinion are concerned, once you've crossed that line, it's over. That's it, really. There isn't any redemption because a child is involved, or a minor is involved. Apparently we have to make this distinction for those who are 16 or 17, depending on where you are in the world. I'm English. As far as I'm concerned, adults around my age range and Disrespect's range, we shouldn't be talking to anyone under like 18 at all. And we should never be talking inappropriately to anyone, ever. Seriously. It's not difficult. But I think I've said what I needed to say regarding the ban itself. That's it. That's why Twitch made the decision in 2020. Now, it would have been nice for Twitch to confirm this. This is important. But Twitch, for some peculiar reason, refused to play ball on this. They don't communicate, they don't speak publicly on these kind of situations, and that's irritating because that level of confirmation would have really helped. He continues to basically apologize. And this is important. This tweet is the nail in the coffin. Or it should be. It should be the nail in the coffin. The fact he edited it did him no favours, and both archive links will be linked down below if you're interested. Yes, I made sure they were archived. And it is fundamentally important you know there are 2 separate archive links to the original tweet and the edited tweet, because he has deleted this from his Twitter account. I know this because I went to his Twitter. The more recent tweet discussing this was June 22nd, where he had said, "Listen, I'm obviously tied to legal obligations from the settlement with Twitch, but I just need to say that what I can say, since this is the effing internet, I didn't do anything wrong. All this has been probed and settled." Replies underneath, "Anyone who believed the claims from the quartering." And Keemstar, "Bro, why won't you say I was not talking to a minor trying to meet up with her at TwitchCon like what was alleged?" So why delete the tweet? This is important. That tweet, as a statement that is supposed to be fundamentally honest, not full of BS, being removed from the internet after being edited multiple times, seems to run counter to the entire message of the tweet, where you are trying to be upfront with your fans, your champions club. The most recent tweet from his account is bragging about his vacation and being back soon. Community notes, one saying not needed, the other wasn't on vacation, he was laying low after being accused, and confirming himself that he messaged a minor with sexual intent, linking to a Forbes article. The reason we're doing this video though is because another article has come out. Dr. Disrespect hints at streaming return and aims to set the record straight. Now if you scroll down the article past the historical catching up thing, on August the 14th, he hinted he was returning to streaming. It is at time of recording the 20th, and I do not believe he has streamed yet. In fact, a quick look at his YouTube channel confirms this to be the case. On the 14th he had tweeted, "Vacation is just too good right now. We'll be back soon though, champs. We have lots to talk about. Yeah, whatever. I don't know what that means." Now, based on this post alone, according to the article, it seems the influencer wants to further explain his action. This post has had mixed reactions, with many blasting his wrongdoing while others couldn't wait for his return. Now if we go back to the tweet, we can read some of the replies. "Yeah, we know which island you're taking a vacation on. Cough, Epstein. Cough. They're calling you a kid like on X-Doc. That's what they're saying on the Everything app. We didn't forget. Vacation is important. Enjoy it while you're there. I hear there are some cool places like Little St. James Island if you want a change of scenery from it. And please don't come back." On the 4th of September 2024, Dr. Disrespect tweeted, "Are people still streaming video games? What a snooze fest." Reply, "What are you doing, Doc?" Dr. Disrespect replies, "Relaxing in the Lambo with the windows down, back from vacation." This led to a number of articles, all quite short, because this alone is worthy enough of a clickbaity article to then regurgitate what's happened so far. Many speculated this meant he was coming back within the next couple of days. This is supported by the fact, on the 5th of September, Dr. Disrespect tweeted out this video you see on the screen. The end of the video has a caption, simply, "Tomorrow." I probably should have pounced on this over the weekend, but it turns out I have a life, and also I wanted to wait and see how the response from the internet correlated to the return of Dr. Disrespect, along with waiting to see what he had to say, which he did eventually do, in a 5-hour live stream on YouTube, which put him at the number 1 of the gamers, streamers, yeah, that area of YouTube. You can tell I go there often. He was the most viewed, number 1 in trending, demonetized live streamer. 20 minutes into that live stream, he addressed the allegations. And that's where we're going to go. There are many different perspectives and beliefs with regards to how he handled this. So I'm going to try and refrain from morally grandstanding a bit too much, although I won't deny there is some temptation here.
Maybe it's time to tell my side of the story. Huh, champs?
I'm going to be this person, and if you don't like me saying this, I don't care. If you owe an explanation on something as serious as this, it seems quite peculiar to do it in full cosplay. I can imagine you, if in a legal setting in a courtroom, turning up like this as well. I'm not even joking. I think you're the type to do that, champs.
You see, there was a lawsuit pending, and as part of that arbitration, all parties were not allowed to speak publicly about the case. I respected those rules.
That is factually accurate. The mistake you made was putting out that Twitter statement. This is where the issue is, and it becomes a very, what is deemed a grey area. It's not a grey area really. you admitted to messaging in an area that was bordering inappropriate to somebody who was underage. I'm not going to be pedantic like Sneeko and say if they're 17 years, 300... No, we're not doing that. You admitted that. You edited the message multiple times, but you left out some key context that you now mention, which seems quite odd. Because if you're honouring the agreement, yet you put out that statement, surely you, Mr. Guy, champ, can understand why there was a lot of confusion and anger.
My lawsuit against Twitch was eventually resolved, as you all know. But even then, as part of the settlement, all parties were still prohibited from speaking publicly about the case or the settlement.
Based on how Twitch do business, this sounds about right. It falls within the realm of a very typical NDA. We all knew that. The problem you have is this is one of those very serious topics where that NDA and agreement allows people to believe that your silence was bought and paid for, and the same applies to others. That is how it is interpreted.
However, if one side violated that confidentiality, then the other side could respond. And again, champs, I respected all the confidential obligations. But apparently Twitch's own disgruntled employees didn't feel the need to abide by those same obligations.
So there are two things that have to be addressed. One, were they employees when they opened their mouths? And second, what is their belief system? Because some people do believe you can't put a price on what is in the realm of cancelable. Does that make sense? That includes messaging children. I can't think of a context as an adult, a 38-year-old one at that, where it is ever justifiable for me to be messaging anyone under the age of 18, ever. I do, however, understand how the internet was very different several years ago. I'm not justifying, I'm stating I'm aware of this. This is like language, where I know what was acceptable years ago is no longer acceptable now, or is acceptable now wasn't a few years ago, but was years before that. There is a cycle, right? When it comes to children, that cycle has to end. With those two bits of information, which I know I prattled and I do apologise, it is vitally important then to acknowledge whether Twitch violated the agreement or not. This then raises the question of whether or not former Twitch employees, if they were former when they started this, abide an NDA as well and are bound to some legal obligations when it comes to how Twitch operate. I feel like there are lawsuits involved, which does explain why one of those names that outed Doc, I say outed Doc, right? Why they kept changing their channel banner or header to include sued, not sued, going to get sued, you know, the usual stuff.
Cody Connors, ex-Twitch employee, wasn't even involved, leaks Twitch's reported reason. Years later, Cody, why do this? What was the point? This was settled professionally. And you, knowing how black and white the internet is, you decided, you f***ing rat.
There has been, over several years, much in the way of confusion as to why you were banned from Twitch in the first place. Much like many who get yeeted from multiple platforms, Twitch is the one platform where you are never told anything publicly beyond a streamer ban's Twitter account. They might allude to it there, but yours was unique because no one knew. When it comes to Cody, I have no idea what their motivation was to out the situation, allegedly, I guess. In the context of this, I'm going to say allegedly for a little while. We'll get to it, don't worry.
To leak the reported reason Twitch banned me in 2020. I mean, for what? Cody? Why? Did you not know the repercussions from spewing lies about the two-time? Did you not know the repercussions of accusing me, Cody Connors? You see, you don't know shit, and it was obvious from your tweet. You didn't have any first-hand knowledge of my dispute with Twitch.
I know that in the context of this, while I mocked the costume earlier, you are reading from a script. You have to be reading from a script. Your movement would indicate that. Your grievance with Cody Connors is perhaps justifiable as well in the context of how you see things. I must remind you though, you put out a tweet, edit it multiple times to remove and insert the word minor. To what? Weed out the bad eggs within your champs club, in your friend circle? Maybe get Twitch to blink and say something to make Cody Connors look like even more of a rat? It's a very odd play to make on the internet where you acknowledge the internet is very black and white. When it comes to children, it's red. It's very difficult when you're playing that game. This isn't 4D chess. This is playing a game of Russian roulette with a danger noodle.
You said that I got banned from Twitch because I was sexting a minor through Whisper's messages? Do you even know what the legal definition of sexting is? I do. And yeah, I used Twitch as Whispers, but trust me, I wasn't sexting anyone. You also said the word minor, Cody. I even made sure that word was emphasized in my statement, edited, etc., just to make sure these so-called journalists would pick up on it.
In the biggest scope possible, tactics-wise, optics-wise. Even within those circles that do not believe in cancel culture or people being cancelled as part of a culture, this isn't a clever move. You make it seem like it was just a jerk, but it's not. It's a very odd thing to do. It really is. I understand, as you earlier stated, you were in a very difficult position, legally. But now that you've deleted the statement, although it has been archived every single time you edited it, it looks even odder.
And boy, oh boy, did they ever, champs. When you and all these so-called journalists, Cody, fired off your tweets, did any of you consider that the Twitch user may have been over the legal age of consent at the time of the messages? You didn't. Neither did any of these journalists, and neither did Twitch at the time of the ban. You also tried to tell the world that I was trying to meet up with this user at TwitchCon, but you're wrong. Let's set the record straight.
That was something theorized, posited as an idea by, I believe, Sneeko, who did take a fair amount of flack for defending, but then Sneeko does have a rather odd perspective when it comes to the legal age of consent anyway. So many disregarded it because of who it came from. I don't suppose we'll ever get any proof of the age of the person in question, will we? Since, as you stated, this was all settled legally. Perhaps some proof it was settled legally would be advantageous. I could be wrong though. The inner skeptic in me from the old days just wants to resurface every so often. But please, Arbiter of Truth, do tell me more.
I never intended to meet this user ever. We never made plans to meet at TwitchCon or anywhere else, and in fact, we never met in person ever. Your accusations gave false courage to other former Twitch employees to make shit up as well. I suspect all of you sort of planned and coordinated this attack.
I do remember seeing tweets and discussions from commentary channels and fans about the convenience of others coming out, but that is natural as an accusation comes to light, that some will then start to speak up, right? Whether they are real or not, some are just glorified crisis actors. It is down to everyone to prove or disprove. Annoyingly, to prove requires cooperation from yourself, but you were too busy on vacation to do that, which led to even more speculation.
These big-time publications, these journalists, these various outlets are sort of just gossip channels now, don't you think, champs? They act like they're just gossip channels now, without any real journalism and real research happening. They report on all this based on leaks from 2 former Twitch employees, one of whom was supposedly on the trust and safety team.
Firstly, trust in journalism is at an all-time low. It's never been lower, yet we are meant to believe them. And second, the Twitch trust and safety team, didn't that used to have Ferociously Stefan, who used to brag about wanting to ban people on a whim? I made a video on that person. Twitch's trust and safety team is an ironic name given to people who have far too much time and don't have a real job.
If these anonymous sources worked on the trust and safety team at the time of my Twitch suspension in 2020, then you would hope they would tell the truth. But apparently that's just too much to ask. If these former trust and safety team members, and by the way, I know exactly who they are, actually had first-hand knowledge, then what they conveniently left out is, 1, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally admitted that the whisper messages were not sexting. And 2, Twitch's trust and safety team, the same employees that decided to ban me, internally acknowledged that the whispers did not constitute child sexual abuse material CSAM.
This does raise a number of questions, and I'm sure many on Twitter have done it already since you've been trending since this live stream, concerning the fact that in your statement you said bordering inappropriate. Now, of course, we can be pedantic and say you didn't cross it. Allegedly, according to you. We haven't seen the chat log, so we don't know this. We can only infer. No one applies listen and believe. We require evidence. If you think that we're just going to listen and believe, you're wrong. Now, we also understand, as you've stated, this has all been settled in a courtroom. Proof of that part would be quite useful, don't you think? If we can't see the chat logs, at least see the proof that it was settled, or that a judge agreed with you, perhaps.
Cody Connors and these other anonymous sources are trying to paint a picture that I was exchanging sexually explicit messages and photos with this Twitch user. That never happened. I even used the word inappropriate, purposely. And look at how it's defined by everyone, champs. Huh? Including these defaming articles. I'm sorry, but mutual bantering with inappropriate jokes taken out of context should have never led to me getting banned from Twitch in the first place.
You don't suppose that's because, if it's bait, you put it there? It can be interpreted by the court of public opinion because there are millions of them. How they perceive it is going to be entirely based on how you frame the entire message. In your statement, you stated you don't like to, waste time, BS people, right? But you edited the statement multiple times, as you say, purposefully, as some form of bait. I'll be honest, that kind of bait isn't the kind of bait anyone should be playing with. You are no exception to that. This is not a moral grandstanding point. This is simplicity. If this is done to troll journalists into writing about you, to get YouTube to demonetize you, to lose sponsors and businesses, this is a very odd play to make. Do you intend to what? Rebuild your business after destroying it yourself? That one sentence alone in your statement has cost you, and it's a very odd cost when your silence was bought for in a settlement in the past. Yet now, because you've got money, you're able to take the hit and start again, all the while also waiting for the opportune moment for the truth to come out, as I assume this is going to at some point.
I mean, how would each of you look if all of your private DMs, your text messages, your chats were looked at, dissected, and taken out of context by someone who's deliberately trying to find something inappropriate in those words? And this is not a situation where a victim publicly accuses someone of wrongdoing. That never happened here.
Okay, so that is a fair point. I won't deny that is a fair point. I do still think the chat log should be made public, but I do agree that how one goes into framing any kind of coverage concerning your Twitch ban could be seen as intellectually dishonest if they do it solely to dissect one sentence at a time. It's quote mining and cherry picking, basically. It's intentionally done for confirmation bias. I understand that. Your statement still doesn't do you any favors, though.
We're talking about allegations that Twitch made against me as a half-baked reason for justifying their actions of suspending and shutting down my channel. Allegations that Twitch made without even a legal analysis of whether the whisper messages were illegal! You see, I engage with my community. I engage with other streamers. And through Twitch Whispers, I communicate with Twitch users. Conversations that consisted of a variety of playing games and gaming politics, content creation, random stuff.
Is anyone else starting to think that perhaps the best way for Dr. Disrespect to have handled this from the offset would have been this, and not putting out a statement that he put out as bait? Because that statement has, to an extent, successfully managed to poison the well. He can deny that part if he likes, but to be honest, that is how it can be interpreted. The tactics behind this were wrong. The next part, Doc is going to explain some of the message bits. I feel it quite important to go through this, but my interruptions, for those who don't know, are based around what is called fair use, so I'm going to have to interrupt at certain points.
This was the extent of my whispers with this Twitch user. On June 21st, 2020, my ex-Twitch partner manager learns that I exchanged whispers with the Twitch user.
I'm going to mute this part because they're going to rail on their Twitch manager because they were the face of Twitch for a long time, yet they rarely ever featured on the front page, which spoke volumes about the amount of attraction there was surrounding the doc that he was able to pull in such an audience when Twitch themselves would never put him at the front. I do remember that because I used to watch him on Twitch.
We got zero front page love. So after we signed with Twitch in 2019, we asked for a new partner manager. And just a few months later, that ex-Twitch partner manager is directly involved with getting me banned. Coincidence?
I'm going to state I am not as fully clued in on the workings of upper management, safety councils and other councils and blah when it comes to Twitch. I literally turn OBS on and hit start stream. That is the extent of my knowledge. When it comes to how managers work on their platform, I have no idea how it works. So I have to take Doc's word for what he has said, much of which I removed because apparently there was a grudge between the ex-manager, the one that didn't get him on the front page, the one that didn't follow him on Twitter, the one that was never getting him into tournaments, and Doc. If that is a motivation, it is one that has to be proven. Realistically, it has to be.
The Twitch user tells the ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. I'll repeat that sentence one more time just in case anybody missed that one. The Twitch user tells this ex-Twitch partner manager that they do not want to report anything to Twitch. But this ex-Twitch partner manager encourages the user and even directs them to file a report directly with Twitch, even though the user told him clearly that we never physically met anywhere and that no photographs were exchanged.
You might have forgotten to mention whether or not they were legal age or not. In the context of mentioning photos and inappropriate messages or meeting up, you should probably include that part too.
On June 24th, 2020, Twitch's Special Operations Team receives and reviews the user's report. They find no issues and determine that it did not warrant any further escalation to Twitch's law enforcement response team. That would have been the end. That should have been the end. But that partner manager, oh boy, did he had it out. He had it out for the two-time. He finds out that no further action will be taken, so what does he do?
I'm going to guess that he escalates it further, circumventing the apparent ruling to try and get a resolution that is preferable to them. If we are to, again, believe this so far. I'm trying to be neutral as best I can, I really am, but I will admit your Twitter statement just sticks in the back of my head and is causing a bit of fog.
He personally escalates the report to a friend on the Twitch's LER team. The LER team, remember, that's the Twitch's law enforcement response team. He escalates the report to a friend on Twitch's LER team. So a day later, on June 25th, the LER analyst pulls the entirety of the whisper messages and begins discussing them with his director of the LER team. Mind you, this director is on vacation at that time and does not have access to their computer or work files.
That's a bit sus, isn't it? I wonder, because I don't know how Twitch operates on this one, when it comes to the LERT, do they have access to them remotely, or is it solely done on a computer on site? Like, do you have access at home, or do you have to be at the office to gain access? This is quite a lengthy part, and I'm going to talk over it briefly before we get to a bit that's relevant. I don't want to cut out too much of his content here. It's quite important. Because we don't know enough about the arbitration, we do not know enough about much of it. Again, many are going to latch onto the statement that you put out on Twitter and see your now statement as a way of trying to downplay what you've already said and admitted to. I will admit, part of me is swayed by what you're saying because I do understand what you're explaining. If there's a grudge held against you, you have a legitimate complaint. And baiting people out to get them in the open is an interesting tactic to achieve that. When your hands are tied, though, it seems very odd, right? Again, you admitted to messaging somebody, but the next part you say here is quite important, so I'm going to carry on playing.
The same people that made this decision admit internally that the messages did not constitute sexting. The same people that made this decision at Twitch admit internally that the messages did not warrant any child sexual abuse material charge. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitted they did not perform any legal analysis of whether the messages exchanged were illegal in any way. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me while admitting that they never investigated the age of consent in the jurisdiction where the user's messages were sent and received. Twitch makes this decision to terminate my contract and ban me without ever interviewing me, the user, or any other third party, including the partner manager. It's
Unbelievable!
You're going to get memed for years to come, because any opportunity to rail you is going to be seen as fair game for the two-time. And you know this, you know how the internet works. How you're responding so far in your statement is quite interesting. I understand enough of being online as to how some of it works. The problem I have is I do not understand how arbitration works, and I do not understand NDAs. I do not understand transparency at this level. I've always believed when an accusation's made, you've got to be upfront and you've got to be honest. But when you're bound to contracts, the area becomes grey and I don't understand it. But I will admit, the story you're telling, with what is known, does sound closer to right than it doesn't. But again, your statement really doesn't help you. It never did help.
I'm not going to get into every detail regarding my legal case.
This is in the online space where you're going to encounter a number of problems. The more notable being that we, a lot of us, myself included, rely on evidence to say whether we do support or not. You being such a big creator could just say, I don't care about your support, and that's quite alright. But for somebody who likes to be involved in communities, for somebody that likes to be involved and vocal, communicative, transparency would surely want to be a part of that. But I understand you're going to provide a reason or a way of fobbing that off at some point in this video. I hope to get to that at some point today.
But these former Twitch employees that claim to have first-hand knowledge, they just don't have a clue. They didn't report any facts. The judge in the case determined that the whispers were not illegal.
Was that part of the arbitration, or was that a separate issue? Do forgive if I have to ask for the sake of clarity here. If it's part of the arbitration, therefore some kind of sealed file, I can understand why you wouldn't be able to share that with us. I'm also curious if, because of those former employees who have yet to be sued yet, at time of recording anyway, as they have spoken up on this, whether or not this means that the file itself, the whole case, can now be discussed. If that's the case, then surely the judge's statement on that, on those messages, would provide ample evidence, as opposed to the chat logs, that the messages were considered by a judge, somebody who I would then respect as an authority, and many for that matter, to not be sexting of anyone that is deemed a minor. I'm going to skip over this little bit here where he flexes on what he is: tall, handsome, athletic and successful, and as a joking, perhaps, reason for why these people went after him, to instead focus on, let's say, less joking. Yeah. I could insert all the underage meme minor jokes here if you like, but it's a lot of effort. I think I wrote one down.
But I also didn't do all the shit that they're saying I did. But then that doesn't make a story, right? They wanted media attention. The media wants controversy. And by sensationalizing all of this with big, inaccurate headlines like sexting and sexually explicit, you all got what you wanted at the expense of the two-time. The reality is, they wanted to cut down the doc. Plain and simple.
Well, it worked. You were removed from Twitch, and when you then did it, it worked on YouTube, briefly. Your numbers for this stream were phenomenal, I will admit. Majority likes, I should point out. I don't know whether the comments were cultivated, but they were all positive from what I saw. Most of the negativity was aimed at Twitter, via Twitter, and other Twitch streamers who looked at you and made minor-related jokes at your expense, because open season, right? I think Kick as well. Let's go with those. I'd just say streamers in general. This does fall within the realm of, because of a lack of evidence for the public space, of conspiracy theory. But since you live it, it can be seen as differently to yourself and your community, of course. I don't know whether or not your community fall within the bracket of simps at times. It's not my place to judge that. I'm merely speculating, because, again, there's a lot of grey areas and holes from a lack of information. And because, again, your statement did you no favours. You can try and say otherwise to root out their real evil, but it didn't do that.
Take a look at some of these horrendous acts of Twitch streamers that were never banned. I've got some examples right here. Example number 1. A streamer that frequently used the N-word while publicly streaming, which constitutes a violation of Twitch's policies if accompanied by hateful intent. Twitch scheduled a meeting with the streamer to ascertain his intent to determine whether his contact was a violation of Twitch's policies, ultimately determining it was not a breach of Twitch's policies. Why wasn't I called into a meeting? Why wasn't my intent taken into consideration, champs?
Don't suppose you're going to name that streamer, are you? It'd be quite important. There are many streamers who manage to get around Twitch's terms of service and shouldn't. Twitch, like YouTube, like Twitter, like any platform for that matter, do not manage to, with any level of consistency, apply their own rules. There are users on YouTube who are ban evading, and I'm sure given a bit more time, someone who was recently banned, Amaranth, will find her way back onto YouTube. That is the nature of this landscape. Some people are treated differently, and I'm not going to justify it. Whether this lends any credence to what you're saying, I can't possibly say. I know nothing of the streamer you are referencing, and I certainly do not have any evidence to hand.
It's so obvious that certain Twitch executives and employees involved had personal biases against the doc, and used all of this as an opportunity to terminate my contract. Go back and look at the timing of all this too. The doc's termination lines up with two preferable, profitable, and expensive streamers leaving Mixer.
Are those the ones that went to Mixer in the first place to try and help it grow, like Ninja, who then came crawling back because the platform was dying a slow, painful death, but we all understood why they went to Mixer in the first place, because the money was phenomenal? Yeah, I remember that. I made a Mixer account. Never streamed there though, it was too much effort. Question. Is the implication then that because people like Ninja and whoever else that left came back, the Twitch were paying too much money out and needed to cut costs, so looked for an excuse to get rid of you? Because that's how that can certainly come across, right? Maybe it's a reach. I don't know. It might not be. It might. It has to be disregarded though, because according to you, that's not relevant. Actually, it was because of somebody having a grudge against you because they were once your manager. That's when the ball started.
And Cody, Connors, I just have to say it again. Why would you do this? Like I said, this was handled professionally years ago. No wrongdoing. But because of you, Cody, we just lost. Fuck, man. Unfortunately, we have to lay off people from Midnight Society. Because of you, Cody.
There's one more clip I do want to play of the doc speaking before I quickly go to Cody's Twitter, because Cody's not helping the situation at all. Although it's possible Cody just doesn't want to help the situation. So here's the clip that I want to play. I'm going to preface with the following. People have been asking, myself included, for information, for evidence. His response is,
people want
to show the message, release the messages, show the messages.
What are we, in second grade?
What are you, a second grader? For those who don't know, that is age 7 to 8. Children don't tend to use the internet that much, but I'm not surprised you think they... I'm not going to make that joke. I'm impressed that you think, though, that kids are the only ones that ask for evidence. I never thought of them as intelligent enough to ask for evidence. They're more malleable. After all, impressionable. Over on Cody's Twitter, since the video came out, you have on August the 20th, qualifications in a tweet. Right. Guy holding a pew-pew to my head while I'm chained to a chair in an abandoned warehouse, signed the NDA and non-compete, me spitting out blood, F you. Qualifications highlighted, can-do attitude only, Wolf of Wall Street type, NDA and non-compete agreements will be needed to be signed before your execution. The next tweet, typing out a message, what kind of lawyer do I need when I'm definitely not getting sued? This is ChatGPT. The most recent tweet, Siri, when do I need to leave for the courthouse if I don't have to go? They as a user are starting to get ratioed on all their tweets, with more people siding with Doc than with them, because they're making light of a serious situation, and Doc is now apparently the only one showing or speaking up about this with as much information as he can provide without showing anything, whereas Cody has been getting reamed for a while now. Slasher took a fair hit as well when this all dropped, if anyone remembers that. Yeah. As a final point, I've tried very carefully with how I've responded here. If you don't agree with what I have to say, that's quite alright. I'm not entirely convinced that Doc has exonerated himself at all, but I'm acutely aware that the debate about whether or not Doc trolled and whether it is a viable troll, whether Doc debunked with no evidence showing he debunked, is proof of his innocence, or whether his statements alone count as proof. I know that users like Keemstar did believe that this was a very well put together statement, and others did too in fact, but others believe that this is ass, quite frankly. I myself am very much on the fence because I really don't know what to think. I'm not as convinced of innocence because I do still believe in the old skeptic ways of evidence provided, citation needed, the teal deer of old. But I could be wrong. Maybe we do need to all listen and believe. It's a wonderful world we live in after all. Today we're going to be taking a look at updates concerning Dr. Disrespect, because since he's not been remonetized on YouTube and we're entering the Merry Meggy month of Moistmas, Guy Beam, Dr. Disrespect, needs to start earning some money here. He is getting donations, yes, but to have that steady passive income is important. We know Kick is off the table, we know Twitch is obviously off the table, that well has been poisoned to a point of no return. YouTube, there was always a chance he could continue if he could get remonetized, but from an optics stance, YouTube is unlikely to ever permit it, because to do so would mean they would be seen as enabling somebody who was partaking in an operation to stick it to journalists, according to Dr. Disrespect, that is. Again, the optics on that would never look good for YouTube, so they cannot be seen enabling it, but they'll happily slap ads on it and make money off it regardless, because that's how YouTube operates. They will freely make money off your content, so you don't have to. Well, there aren't many options left to Dr. Disrespect, although I've noticed with the likes of Jack Doherty, the option of a platform like Party is certainly something to explore. The one that I had thought he might go to sooner rather than later would be Rumble. Rumble's CPM is fluctuating, but is actually pretty good. Odyssey, of course, could be an option as well if you want to go down that path. BitChute maybe as well. But in the case of Rumble, it has the best option for making money as a platform and for growing in a community that is itself not yet oversaturated. So certainly something he could explore. I mention this on purpose because rumours started to circulate around the 13th of November after a few comments he made on YouTube that he might go down the path of Rumble. Here is the relevant clip of that.
Rumble suits you better, says Fripples with a 5. Rumble's numbers were crazy last night, huh? Jesus. Good for them. Good for them.
Now that could be interpreted a number of ways, but he has a point, the doc does. He has a point that Rumble's numbers are pretty damn good. There are many streamers, many creators who have just gone over there exclusively. Many conservative commentators on YouTube. Hell, the likes of RiceGum went to Rumble as well, I believe. Although it's likely RiceGum also streams to Kick as well because money. Or Twitch. I know Rumble is certainly one he is using. Many creators know that the option of Rumble is certainly worth exploring because, as I've mentioned, the CPM is good. So the rumours carry a bit of weight to them, and there's no way he has not considered it. Now, there was a brief gap in his streaming schedule because of an ACL surgery he had gone through. His watch time hours around this, though, are still pretty high because the passive views are good. He still could not reapply for monetization, though, until after December. Basically January, where ads are worth virtually nothing. You may as well be paying for the ads yourself. I'm going to state again, whether you are on his side or not, in this I'm not providing an opinion on whether or not he should be allowed on other platforms. If he doesn't breach their terms of service, then the platform can choose to have him there or not. It's up to them ultimately, and in this instance, Doc still has huge support on his channels, on his platforms, because it was just an op, everyone. Just a jerk, bruh. On the 18th of November 2024, a Rumble channel using their full handle Dr. Disrespect appeared, leading many to believe the streamer may be preparing to switch platforms or collaborate on multiple platforms. There are many streamers who use Restream, so I could believe he would use both because it's certainly an option, unless of course an exclusive deal was offered. Rumble CEO Chris Pavlovsky fueled the rumours with cryptic social media posts. A day after the account's creation, Chris had tweeted, "Make gaming great again," referencing Dr. Disrespect's new merchandise slogan and a potential gaming partnership. on the 21st of November, teased the arrival of a big creator by stating, "Get ready for next week, the new era on Rumble starts to take shape." In the grand scheme of things, political streaming is pretty damn good over there. Game streaming has yet to catch up, but has the potential to be good. It's pretty good on Kick for sub money. Twitch is alright, but you mostly pay for the privilege of using the platform, and YouTube is dead. And I say that because you don't just pay for the privilege, you're screwed and throttled at every opportunity, and also it's an oversaturated market like Twitch, in the sense that it's been around for a long time and it's very hard for anyone to grow. Many of those within the Champions Club believe the move makes sense given Rumble's focus on free speech and leniency towards creators. One person commenting, Rumble will allow him to be himself without worrying about being suspended or blacklisted. There is some truth to that. Rumble is very open about this. Adding to the speculation, fans noticed the Rumble logo subtly embedded in the lighting of Doc's arena during his YouTube stream on the 22nd of November. The logo is on the screen now for those who don't know. Yes, it is quite clearly there. Teasing these is interesting. It certainly lends credence to the belief he is going to quit YouTube, which, well, yesterday was in fact announced. He has quit YouTube and will be joining Rumble to lead the streaming site's increased focus on gaming. Chris Pavlovsky had said that Rumble is in a new era, and I'm laser focused on expanding into two categories, gaming and crypto. For the sake of it, don't care about crypto in the slightest and will never be involved in. Dr. Disrespect will also lead Rumble Gaming, acting as an advisor and building its community. This comes from a blog off Rumble's own website, which is where we're now going to go. Dr. Disrespect is one of the world's best known online streamers. He became known for playing battle royale games such as Call of Duty and PUBG, on Twitch and on YouTube. His first stream on Rumble will be on the 2nd of December 2024. Linking to his channel, he will continue to stream his free show on Rumble with additional exclusive content available to subscribers of his community through Rumble Premium. Rumble's offering a $10 discount for new subs to his community with a promo code, blah blah blah, including the quote from Chris Pavlovsky. Dr. Disrespect will give a much-needed injection into our gaming category. At time of recording, Dr. Disrespect's Rumble channel has 28,000 followers, and 400. I do expect his growth to be exponential going forward. I know there is a reward thing for having, I think it's 100,000, you get a little statue. I want it. I'm nowhere near it, but I want it. The parts that intrigued me, first of all, exclusive content, which means there is a deal in place for that. A commitment to a certain number of streams per week, exclusively for the platform. But this will also indicate he is permitted still, unless they say otherwise, to stream elsewhere, while also doing his free content. I've not heard anything saying he will be leaving YouTube entirely, and even when he was on Twitch, he was on YouTube as well. That much is known, by the way. Perhaps the VODs can go on there. And then when he gets remonetized, additional passive income. And I say when because I do think YouTube will eventually relent and give him back access to his YouTube channel fully monetized when everything's died down enough. That's not a criticism, by the way. It is a statement of just, it's how the thing goes. It's a tautology. It is what it is. Whether I agree or not is irrelevant. In the case of Rumble, I'm intrigued by this deal because he has in the past stated how much it would take to get him to go to places like Kick. It was a lot of money. Whether he has that pulling power to be able to negotiate such a deal fascinates me. And we need to add something to this. Also him acting as someone leading the charge in the gaming sphere as an advisor. Whether that's honorific or a paid for role, I'm not entirely sure. And yes, I'm very much aware there are a number of jokes that one could insert concerning Dr. Disrespect, his controversy this year, cliches concerning gamers, and his expert advice. If you can make one without breaching terms of service, by all means put it in the comments down below. Now, I did see a rather amusing article posted by PC Gamer talking about this move to Rumble, where he had said that he would rather retire than join Kick, yeah? And then it mentioned that Rumble, being home to numerous personalities of dubious repute, including Steven Crowder, Russell Brand, the Quartering, the Tate Brothers, is that worse than Kick? I would argue that it absolutely might be. Absolutely, and there might be. That's a bit of a contradiction, PC Gamer, but okay. But then you've also said that Doc wouldn't be a bad fit because of his Make Gaming Great Again slogan. Now, as a direct response of the announcement of Dr. Disrespect joining Rumble, shares for Rumble surged by up to 17%, which marked the highest intraday rise since July. This significant spike occurred following the announcement, which includes an equity deal where the majority of Dr. Disrespect's compensation will be tied to achieving very specific milestones. The agreement stipulates that Dr. Disrespect will generate exclusive content for Rumble Premium for his Champions Club community. The move is expected to bolster the platform's content offerings and attract a dedicated fan base. There is also a brief mention that the promotional effort is likely designed to quickly ramp up the subscriber base and capitalize on his influential presence in the gaming world. So influential, I've noticed there are many clips that have been going around of him joining gaming lobbies, only for people to all leave when they realize it's him in the lobby. There are still many people within the gaming world who do not respect him, and that's always going to be a problem for him going forward. Whether there's truth to what he said earlier this year after his admission to then say it wasn't an admission for the reasons he then said was to essentially cull a herd of fakes, or not, whether there's truth or not, the problem he has is that admission, that now deleted admission that's been archived and will always exist on the internet, will forever be a stain on his name and reputation. It's why many sponsorships have disappeared. It's why he's going to struggle to get his foot back in the door with companies he was a part of, and those companies may well struggle if he is a part of them. I know that the Doc has many fans, and I take no issue with you being a fan of anyone, really. It's your business. But one cannot ignore how it is interpreted on a grander scale. Rumble aligning with the likes of Dr. Disrespect, I take no issue with it, really, because I do believe everyone should be permitted to stream anywhere they like. And Rumble is one of those platforms I do believe could well become a decent competitor for the likes of YouTube and Twitch. Kick might as well. It still uses Amazon servers, doesn't it? I still think these have great potential, and I think alternate platforms should always exist. 100%. Whether Doc can achieve these milestones with this equity deal he has, whether he can still be a force in the gaming industry, time tells. He was trending on YouTube for a reason, because people really do support the guy. So there is one last detail we need to now add. With him becoming the face, the voice of gaming on Rumble, we need to include the fact that his first stream, while some saw it, and I wish I had the article, as a bit of a slow starter or a failure, the articles got suppressed very quickly because actually they're wrong. Tens of thousands of people turned up to watch the exclusive and paid for the exclusive streams on Rumble. Some believe he will go on to break the records he has set for numbers watching him live. An individual called Habibi donated over $10,000 on that very first stream. And whenever he is questioned or queried about the allegations that he responded to, deleted, and then responded to differently, he followed up by saying the following.
Skella Kitten in the chat goes,
pedal, 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 he did pedal, 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 PDF, pedal, pedal, PDF, pedal, PDF, PDF, pedal, pedal file, pedal, he the PDF, he said it. But he admitted it. He said it. He admitted.
At time of recording on the 8th of December, Dr. Disrespect's channel now resides at 71,000 followers. His channel has grown exponentially for that platform, and I fully expect him to continue to succeed. The viewership, if you look at the stream since the announcement to the more recent stream on the screen, has gone down, yes. But that happened on YouTube when he transitioned from Twitch to YouTube. He will eventually find his place, his space, and continue to do what he's always done. You can interpret that as being a gamer, a middle-aged man acting like a child when accused of things, or being a smart person. That is entirely up to you. As far as I'm concerned, if he is going to be leading the charge on Rumble and changing the nature of what it means to be a gamer on that platform, where game streaming is not as popular as it is on Twitch, Kick, YouTube, then I look forward to seeing what happens next. However, there will always now be a lingering accusation levied at him because of how he handled the situation during the year. That is irrefutable. It cannot be changed. That would then lead people to believe the well is being poisoned, so anyone that garners success because of what he has done on Rumble so soon would be seen as benefiting from pedophilia in some manner. I'm saying that because that is how others, more casual viewers, will interpret it, not because that's what I believe. Just in case someone thought I did. No, I don't. Thank you.